Hi, and welcome to our video tutorial on the main idea. Okay, so what is the main idea? The main idea is the purpose of a paragraph or a text. It's really what the author is trying to tell you. All the information of a paragraph connects to the main idea. Important details help you infer the main idea. Remember what we meant when we learned what infer means? It means to guess. So the important details help you guess what the main idea is. Some information in the paragraph is not as important. That is called superfluous information. Alright, so how do we go about identifying the main idea? Number one, you read the whole text. You read it carefully. After that, you ask, well, what is the author doing here? What is he trying to teach me about? If you want some clues, you should pay some extra attention to the first and last sentence of a paragraph. There are usually some helpful clues there. Pay attention to the words. Let's look at this example together. So I'm going to read this slowly, and your job is to follow along with me. At the end, I'm going to give you some time to think, and remember to look at the first and last sentence extra carefully. Okay, let's begin. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first men to walk on the surface of the moon, but they were not the last. The last man to step off the lunar surface was Gene Cernan. In total, there have been 12 men who have walked on the moon. All of them had done so between 1969 and 1972. Michael Jackson was also famous for his moonwalk, but he was not an astronaut. Okay, so take a few seconds by yourself to read that first sentence again and the last sentence, and try and think of some words that are repeated often in the paragraph. So Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first men to walk on the surface of the moon, but they weren't the last. That's our first sentence. Let's reread our last sentence. Michael Jackson was famous for his moonwalk, but he was not an astronaut. Let's try and understand what the main idea is. We're going to look for all those important sentences. So one thing that the author told us is that Armstrong and Aldrin were the first men to walk on the moon. Then, he said that Cernan was the last man to walk on the moon. And finally, he told us that in total 12 men have walked on the moon. What do you notice that's similar between those three key phrases? That's right, they all talk about men who walked on the moon. So this paragraph, the main idea is moonwalkers. Men who walked on the moon. You must comprehend the text. To comprehend the text, you must focus on the biggest idea. Even though he's talking about three different moonwalkers, they all have that in common. One more thing. I want you to look at the last sentence from this text. See, what would you call this? One more person was famous for his moonwalk. He was Michael Jackson, but he was not an astronaut. Is this important to your understanding of moonwalks? No, so this is called superfluous information. Be careful. Sometimes in exams, teachers might ask you questions like, what would another good title for this passage be? What would another good title for this paragraph be? Don't be fooled. It's just another way of asking for the main idea. So don't you let the teacher trick you. Okay? So that's all for our tutorial on how to find the main idea. Thank you.